do that.
There you go.
Do that online.
Just about
Sit down, Linda, quick.
Okay.
30 seconds.
And then just sharpen the pencils.
Chopping it big, not for throwing.
Not for throwing, right.
Yeah.
Is there still one
I'm pretty sure I could get it anywhere in here.
on your thingy?
Could hide in the door and open it a crack. It wouldn't make it through there, but.
No. Where did it go to? The
That's
pencil
it.
sharpener that was on the wall?
It's a little
It's
sharp.
never been here since I've been here.
All right, well, we're gonna start. You ready?
Sure, I guess. How about a pair of scissors?
Okay, since it is now 4 p.m., let's begin the budget meeting. We'll start with roll call. Kramer.
Here.
Ferguson.
Here.
Koontz. Here. Harris.
Here.
Service.
Here.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. I'll
Are we done yet?
acknowledge all the attendees here. Thanks for coming. Call for changes. Any changes to the agenda, Aaron?
I would like to do a very, very short informational about utilization of lower level space
Okay.
by outside agencies.
Okay,
There's some scissors, Gary.
so put that in new business B.
Should be still. Yeah.
Do we have a new sheet or are we using? Oh, I see. I see. I used the wrong one last night. Okay.
Utilization of lower.
Space for outside agencies. Sarah makes a motion to amend the agenda. Do we have a second?
Sure.
I have something for executive session. Everybody did. I don't know now.
You'll put that on.
Well, we gotta make sure we know that we're.
Okay, any discussion on the motion to amend? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Linda, Shannon, you guys,
I did say aye. Sorry, it was quiet. Speak up.
okay, motion passes. So let's move on to new business A, 2026 budget discussion for expenses. So I'd like to kick it off, Barry, once you're done.
Yeah, I mean, I just put some numbers. You'll see, I did increase the pay for trustees, but I mean, it's up to you guys. That's the one thing I think
Can I ask why?
Why not?
I thought, well, but if not, you guys can go to your usual, but
I don't.
I guess whenever I've done budgets, we've always put.
Well,
everything
you
for
know,
everybody.
I've been here 3 years and I feel as a trustee for the work we put in, we do need a pat on the back with a little bit of raise.
Well, I guess my question would be when, if ever, has it been raised in the past?
Not that,
Went from 50 to 75 back in 2018, 19.
Was it then? I thought it was before that, but I really.
You're still at 50 when it's not. And that was at the beginning of 7.
Okay.
So
Just, it's been a long time. But.
times one. All right,
Look,
I'm gonna,
it's been
I'm gonna
longer.
do 3% per year and see what it comes out. 50 times 1 times 3. 18. Oh, no, look, I'm reached to 75. That's 75. 2018. 2018.
I think maybe we just pending, this increase pending based on where we went.
$100 meetings and 75 for social meetings. It's 24 regular meetings at $100 times 5 board members, 12,000, and the
If it was
12
raised,
meetings times 5 times 5 is 4,500.
Okay,
if it was raised to 75 in 2017, then a 3% per year increase would put it at 97.85. From 75 over the past, that would have been 6, 7, 8 years, whatever that.
so right at the 100 mark, basically.
I just got a question.
Linda,
Well, I would agree with Donna. We put a lot of time in, a lot more than I think a lot of the public really realizes. And even in the municipal league, they say you need to pay your board members. I mean, they say that at every conference, and I agree with that, but at the same time, I'm not comfortable, especially right at this time, at the beginning of these sheets, to say that we should do that, because in my opinion, I'm not here, I mean, I'm here to try to do for the public what I got voted in for. And I don't know, I just think it should wait until the end of the sheets, and then if we have it, we can do it. That's my opinion.
okay, Donna,
Well, I just feel, yeah, we do put a lot of time in. And a lot of it is very thankless from a lot of people.
School, it's just 70.
So I just, we can wait till the end, but I still think that the board trustees deserve the help.
okay, you visit Shannon?
Yeah, my suggestion, I feel that we should leave it where it's at because we're going to have the added law enforcement that we didn't have. We haven't heard whether Custer's going to help with that or not. Just seems like we've had a lot of added expenses in our revenue on the lower than it was last year, so I don't see how we're gonna be able to afford it, in my opinion. Not that it doesn't sound nice, I just think it's supposed to be a volunteer job anyhow.
Yep, Mark?
Sometimes the amount of hours doesn't match what we get paid for it, but
Just from this side of the aisle, I think it's appropriate to give yourselves adequate pay, at least 3% a year, not just for you guys, but for people in the future that are maybe thinking about running. If there's not some tiny benefit, I'm not sure that we'll ever have a lot of participation. You guys are talking about $1,000 a year difference. And I'm against spending money, but this is one thing that I agree. I think the board should be compensated for its time. Nobody wants to come to work for free.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, right now, the compensation is 75 for regular meeting and 50 for a special meeting and or work session. Is that correct? And then this number here would be 100 for a regular meeting and 75 for a special meeting or work session. That's what we're talking about here. But we can decide at the end too if you want, Aaron.
Yeah, I'd just, I mean, now this is coming up now, but I'd be curious to know where other third class municipalities in South Dakota are at. You know, it seems kind of like a strange thing for us to decide. It almost feels like there should be a standard out there that we could follow.
I, in the past, a lot of them were getting $50 for a meeting. I don't know. I have not talked to any of them in the last
20
years. I haven't been 20, but I haven't been to a conference in a few years, and that's kind of where those kind of things, can get discussed easily. But
the other hard thing about third class is like Fairburn, the third class, but they only meet once a month. They don't meet almost weekly.
well, and they only have how many citizens? And
Right, and their only revenue is from what they get from the state, they don't have any other, so. Yeah. Third class can be a variety of different things when you try to compare Some things we have to compare to other second-class municipalities, but they're just as busy as that.
Yeah. Both Aaron and I, but, should we make a few calls tomorrow and find out?
Yeah, I just, Chat GPT says there's really no standard or
Yeah.
anything like that. So we can look around and see what they are.
Do you want to leave it in there for now and see if we have to cut, where we can cut, we can
Yeah.
come back to it?
Mark, did you have another one?
I was just saying, hopefully, if you guys decided going forward, you didn't need to have legal presence at every meeting, some of that money, I, for the input, I just, you know my position on it. I think it would be a good step for you guys.
Okay, thank you. So,
Leave it and move on and come to it at the end if we have to?
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
payroll tax, that's pretty much set.
Yeah.
Just check that one off.
Pretty much everything else here, right, is kind of just
Mhm.
publishing. I think is the next one's variable, right?
That's just the publication of meetings and any other little things we have to publish.
That, the only thing that, that has a red flag for me is that we're gonna be redoing, making sure a lot of ordinances and the fee schedule and all that is redone and looked at, and we have to publish them. That might need to be higher.
That's the 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's only if we don't get it done by the end of this year though, right?
Well, right, yes. And what do we have? We have $2,305 left for this year, so. Good. There is, I see, I'm moving, sorry. Travel and conference, there's money left in that account for the municipal league conference in October or September, I can't remember when it is. End of September, okay.
Early October, like September 30th. I think.
Okay, so there is funding left for that, that's good.
For
Anybody, you can go.
travel. What popped in my mind was that Fuel the Growth for Terry. I think it'd be really cool to send her to that.
That would be under FO.
FO, yeah, not.
Oh, all right. Separate.
Well, I agree. I think anything that she can go to. Hello there, Mark. Budget time.
Well, I'll help your budget.
Thank you.
Now we got a raise.
So professional fee expenses.
Your repair and maintenance, is that just locked keys?
Well, I'm sure the repair and maintenance, like when the lights had to be changed, did that come out of the board expense? That's a key dress, honey. You think so? Okay, so I mean, those are. I
We're
mean,
gonna do that cage, that was 750. Oh, that's
but that should be law enforcement. Yeah.
just the main office.
Terry, any professional fee expenses, the G-Works, how much is that a year?
I think it's about 8,000.
A year.
We split it between different departments.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
between
both
water, sewer,
Water,
and board.
sewer, both, for
Oh,
the
okay.
finance office.
So, is there anything you guys want to change in the board of trustees? From publishing down to other?
I would suggest we leave it all the same and go from there.
Yeah.
looks like we've already overspent on our supplies and material this year.
That is because of the fuel for the shop. I'm not sure where to put that.
Oh,
Build that thing
sure.
for the
Sure.
propane at the shop, because it used to be that when somebody was renting
Hmm,
it, they
yeah.
purchased the fuel, and then now since we're not renting it.
So do we need, do we need to put in a new line item then for that shop?
If we're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
Should almost be under streets, but you're storing the jetting truck there, so.
No,
No, jetting truck.
That's not going in now.
But Anthony, so I'm pretty, we gotta double check, right, Anthony's contract, but I'm pretty sure having access to that building was in the new contract with Benish.
Yeah.
okay,
So that would break it into sewer water.
okay. So we need some, but we do need to have that in there because I mean, if we're keeping it,
Water in there, isn't there?
yes.
Yeah,
So we don't want.
yeah, the,
I guess
yeah,
we'd have a water main turn the water off.
Mhm.
What are we storing in there if we're not gonna do the truck? Why can't we rent it again?
where it's in the Benish contract to
Other than that,
allow them to use it.
I mean, because they can use the one down by the creek too.
It's in the contract to use that building, like it's part of the contract with that.
I understand that, but that's not to say Anthony wouldn't be understanding to use the bottom shop instead of the top one if we needed to rent it out for income, if we're no longer storing the jetting truck in there.
Yeah,
It was stored in there.
it's too tall and we would have to modify it to get the vac truck in there.
Back truck.
And that is why it's not in there. And that being said, it's been outside most of its life.
Right.
And when we discussed it, we did discuss putting in a carport type thing down at the other well house next to the building there, instead of using this for that. But the cop car, I mean, I would think that the cop car could be in there and, or both of them, depending on how, that's all gonna, a marshal car, excuse me.
Right. I'm just saying we've never had them covered before, and is the rent more important than having it covered?
Mark,
Hmm.
okay, sorry. So Bennett's part of their contract, they have access to the shop?
I'm pretty sure that, that's in there is both shops.
I'm checking on that once this file downloads.
Yeah, so that we, because so like the other day, they had, they needed to order parts for the lagoon system, the treatment plant, and they needed a place to drop them off. So they dropped them off in there.
So are they,
So that Benish could.
fine? I mean, as a contractor, I guess I don't understand why we just let them use the building.
Just a part of the
Chuck's a
contract.
contractor, we didn't give him access.
So Benish now will take care of all the duties with, not all of them, with sewer and water, as opposed to Chuck. And they'll be doing all the paperwork and all that. And so, like Aaron said, they'll be using it as their kind of place when they're here doing things. So, however, we'll see.
So the town's gonna take liability then for anything that they store in there?
Well, it's for our purposes, not to say that they can use it for other things and other clients of theirs. It's for the town of Hermosa's
Okay.
things. Anything come through yet?
We'll have to double check on that, maybe have an update on it by the next meeting so we can be certain.
Or even later?
So are they like contracting out other license? Is this just for the lagoon stuff, or is this like if we have water sewer issues in town at residences?
It's, what they're taking over are the operations of the water and sewer system. And they're going to be the administrators of the third-party contractors, excuse me, that we hire to do the other infrastructure type jobs. And so, everything will be run through them. They will be the ones delivering the reports on the work done and making sure the contractors follow our work order system and everything like that, so that we can begin to get all of our infrastructure, maintenance and projects, logged, and we have all the data and everything stored so that anybody can go back and look up and see, well, what happened when, and, we'll probably do a work session. If you guys haven't seen it yet, we can do a work session and show everybody how the system works. But basically, like this hydrant, wherever there's a hydrant, say there's a hydrant right there. Okay, well, when was the last time that valve was exercised? No, unless Chuck had done it and then he knows when it was, nobody knows. But so the part of what we're gonna do too is a new valve exercise program. And so every time that valve gets exercised or anytime anything happens with that valve, it will be logged in the system. And so every entity, every pipe, every valve, every hydrant has a representation in the system so that you can just click on that. It'll bring up the work order history, any photos associated with it, this, that, and the other thing, so that we can get a comprehensive look at the infrastructure. And also Benish can look at it too, and so it'll help. And the idea is to streamline the infrastructure operations.
So Banish will be getting paid for what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So then if they're getting paid for that, but they're utilizing the building, why aren't we charging them some type of rent out of the money that they're making?
Well, I'm looking up that specific item right now. And so I'll try to have that done by the end of this meeting. Here.
So far, their biggest utilization of it is they've still got parts coming in for the treatment plant. There were those electrical panels and things that are, so they're kind of still have parts flowing in. I would imagine once a lot of that is done, then we can talk and be like, all right, we're gonna kind of take our building back. But, they still got pieces of equipment coming in. And now that we're going to.
I didn't know if it was the full time, they were taking over the full time or just, oh, that's not, okay.
Yeah, and it's not like they don't have ownership of it, just access to it. And I think it's basically just, all right, we have this parts order coming in, we need to place your job it.
That's the key, access to it, not ownership of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just, so plumbing and stuff and infrastructure like that's gonna be there. What about, are they gonna do road supervision too? No?
But in the program that, will be used for keeping track of all of the water and sewer maintenance program, there will also be a spot for all the street maintenance. So, but no, they will not be doing streets.
Can I also add that, they're the in-between with what Chuck's still doing for the town as well. So everything that Chuck always logs in his book, whatnot, gets reported to Anthony, and Anthony basically digitizes it, creates a report for the board at the next meeting. Does that make sense? So it's a way to keep Chuck doing the other things other than the treatment plants and the water project, I would say.
No, it makes sense. I just want to make sure that so if they're running all the infrastructure and stuff, so if a pipe breaks on Fifth and Main, it'll go through them then, and they hire a third party contractor.
I think that's how it'll work.
I think it's awful, I'm sorry. I think it's offered to Chuck first to be able to fix it. And then we go from there. Depends on what it, it's a little confusing because we don't quite Chuck and I don't quite
It
understand.
does go to Benish, yes.
Yeah.
Benish is the administrator. of the
Right,
contract.
they write up the reporters and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So are they also providing liability then?
I mean, the thing is I know for at least one contractor, the town will contract with them directly with their contract being overseen by Benish for the town. So
See, and Chuck
so
does
the liability,
inspections.
so the
So
liability,
isn't done.
they do have
They-
some liability associated with it. It's in the contract. I mean, we can go over that later. if you
Yeah, I'm
want.
sorry. I'm nitpicking now, so.
It does say here, the town will be responsible for the cost of maintaining these two buildings. the two public works buildings they're talking about. Accessible by Banish for the storage of tools, chemicals, and spare parts. So that's what Aaron was talking about there.
Accessible.
Yeah, so we didn't give it to them. We'll still use it
Right.
for, like, we got our UPM in there right now.
We're
That
gonna
old
be
Western
having,
traffic sign.
more parts coming in too, once we get the water projects underway and stuff. So,
And they do not have a key, if you didn't hear Terry say that. They don't have a key but
all right, so, I think we're on to election, is that right? Or we want to look through the contingents? Talk about that right now?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of glanced through it while looking, I forget what I was looking through it, whether it was the municipal league or something. I came across it and I talked to Terry with it a bit about it. So my understanding is we can allocate up to 5% of our budget to contingency. And it's essentially an emergency fund, and that fund, things can be drawn from that using a motion into other departments that need it. So it's like a buffer zone that applies to the entire budget.
Okay.
It's capped at 5%, but so like, let's say we did have an overrun in publishing expenses under Board of Trustees. We could pull from the contingency with a motion rather than having to do a full budget ordinance. Right, supplement.
That's,
But you'd want that in each fund, because it doesn't fund across, correct? You'd want a contingency in.
No, that's.
No,
The
the
contingency.
total.
is only one.
But you go from general
It's the
to,
next item on your sheet there. We're talking about filling up that bucket. So if you look on there, there's a 51,000 has one called reserves, which would probably be good, like a general catch-all or general bucket to dump
Yeah.
the funds into.
I'm just saying there's a reserve bucket for each fund, one for water, one for sewer, one for general.
Ready?
Well, that's the
There
thing.
can be, yes, I mean, the
We
same
can do-
account number exists in each fund.
Okay. Well, we're talking about just doing a single
A
one.
general.
For everything.
And that's my question. Is that how the municipal league read? That you could put your 5% of your total general fund budget into a contingency so that it's available to use within your
I
general?
can tell you one
Or
thing, I mean, one thing I
transfer.
learned at budget, training.
Mhm.
So the water and the sewer are what they call enterprise fund. And
Right.
according to Ron Horton, you do not supplement them. If they go over, which I went, that's just weird to me, but
Okay,
yeah,
so what do you do?
you just, yeah.
leave
you
it and,
Leave, you just leave the, but you don't have to supplement, that's what, because I checked with him, because I'm like, this is really weird, but
That is weird.
that is what I.
can you, if you choose to?
I think
You don't have
can, you
to?
don't have to, I don't think you're required, only the general fund.
I would think we would want to just to
Yeah.
make it look
Well,
right.
it's gonna come out
Yeah.
cash, I mean, you're gonna pay for it. It's what-
I mean, I don't know
Well,
what that requires the ordinance part, that's what I'm asking is.
No, I mean,
So we don't need the reserve in the,
I
the
don't
other two.
believe so, I think we just need.
Is the 5% including those two? Like 5% of your total budget for all funds or 5% for your general fund?
That's a good question,
That
I don't know. It seems like it would just be the general fund.
Right, that's kind of why I was getting with the separate reserve bucket.
Okay, so that may be something to check into.
I mean, if it could go into any bucket, then it stands to reason it would be the total budget then.
That's
Of all funds.
the total budget of the entire, once you, yeah, I understand, once you find your entire budget for the year, everything you have to, that you can budget with, 5% of that, you can put it into contingency, and then it can feed anything else that's on the verge of going over with a motion rather than having to supplement them with a budget. So like contingency professional fees, let's say you run over professional fees in Board of Trustees, you can put that on the contingency professional fees, so you don't have to supplement the professional fees in Board of Trustees. So
So
that's,
you can see on the water, there's a few buckets called reserve. On the sewer, there's two.
Because when you have to save the
So
10%.
there's
Supposed to.
one in. One on sewer. What's that contingency total underneath the sewer? Anyway, there's a couple in that one too.
on my figures, just if you were doing it on the entire budget,
It's about 60 grand.
Yeah, 61 grand.
And this is the first time the town has ever done it, and maybe we don't need to do full 60 grand, maybe.
Right.
But we could do like 10,000. So we have this like, let's see if this is gonna work long term for the town to have this emergency.
So I guess I would say that I think that's probably a really good idea. I think it would make it easier for switching, or for making up losses or whatever. However, this is another one that I would like to see go to the back of the budget and get through everything else first and see where we're at. We got a fly swatter in here.
That's what I went to look for, I couldn't find it in the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is if these ones that already have reserves in them.
Got him, sorry, everybody.
Good job.
We're supposed to put the reserves for those in those buckets, then to me, it stands to reason that we should eliminate those, sections from the budget when considering reserves for the general contingency. If they have their own reserves right now, then we can put some in there for each one.
I have to comment on why it was built that way.
Sure.
And you probably don't remember, Linda, but we did use that reserve expense. And usually what it was used for was to balance the budget at the end. If you had a surplus of revenue, say it was only $1,728 or whatever to make it balance, we throw it in that reserve basically as a slush fund, and that's what it does. It covers any of those others that might go over, because at the end, you're balancing your general fund, not your line to line expense. So like when Aaron said, if this one line in general went over, you could cover it with the expenses. We had that for each fund. That's why I'm saying it's separate. In Aaron's example, if you went over on repair and maintenance and water, can you cover it with your 5% contingency sitting in your board general fund? I don't know. Because we never came into that situation, but the reserves in the water and the sewer were built there. I believe it was with the loans, because some of those were like 110%, where you had to have that reserve amount in there for, and it's when you're carrying the loan for the extra that you might need for capital improvements or repair and maintenance, that type of thing. That's why those reserve funds were there. And the only reason I asked about it being used for the other funds is because I never had to do that, but we have used the slush funds. We've just never, I'm sorry, I call it a slush fund. That's what I meant by it. We've never actually set it as a like 60 grand amount as an expense to use in that case. That was just a slush fund to make things balance at the end.
Terry, you had a little nice thing. Before we got in here yesterday, she had the revenue and expenses perfectly balanced.
Sure, yeah,
And
That's
we
right.
started poking our fingers in it and things got weird.
that's how it works.
Expected to go with no changes.
Yeah,
All right, Mark.
I would want to make sure and do some fine checking, because you got a lot of categories that have miscellaneous, extras, yada, 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 yada. Which I'd want to make sure that isn't, supposed to count against the total 5%. You end up with, for the lack of a better term, slush fund in a specific department. And that, I just looked at that real here.
And that's what I meant when I said that when we have departments that have reserves listed in them already, that we eliminate those departments from calculating that 5%.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's come back to that one. So, the next one's election, right? So that's.
Yeah.
Are we leaving the board then as is?
Mhm.
Yeah, election. So we didn't spend any on election this year, did we?
Because we had the one notification and then we didn't have an election, so I helped run the school election, but that wasn't anything
Oh, okay.
that we had to cut. So we had one advertisement. Yeah, we only had one advertisement. I think that was for the positions that were open.
All right.
So,
Well, we do have one coming up, so next year.
And is this with, let me see here. the increase in the wage, because we increased the wage for the workers. Was that included in here, Terry? For the dollar
Just
amount?
increased. Did we increase the wage? I have to go back to it. Because that's the only thing that changed, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So all the supplies increased $10 too. Just make it an even.
You guys okay with that whole category?
Yep.
Okay, finance office,
That first line I increased quite a bit because prior to that, we'd always taken 20% of the finance officer's wages and put it in BBB fund. And we haven't really been using that, so not sure how we want to proceed with that.
But you still have to account for it, keep track of it, so it's still part of your wage.
No, it's not being taken that way. That's not how my dealer set me up or how she was ever. That's not how we do 5% of the admin wage because they do the newsletter.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only thing we take out of the BBB funds.
And yours is supposed to be for.
Well, if you look at my job description, it says 20% of my time is supposed to be for economic development.
20%.
Mhm.
What's up with that?
Jerry. So.
Well, it doesn't have 20% of her time available for that.
that's a
No
day-
offense,
that's a day.
but
yeah, well, in order for
maybe
that
5%.
to happen, I think that this position here would have to be a little bit expanded to take up whatever duties that you would have to push up onto them so that you could do that and kind of increase the number of things that person needs to do.
Mhm. But I do agree, you do the paperwork. I mean, you have to look into it and
Maybe I can,
so maybe
we can justify
a certain amount,
Like 5%.
5, I mean.
Yep.
Okay, I mean,
So that
I
takes.
mean, we don't want there to be ever an issue with that fund.
Right.
You know, because at some point in time, it'll be a great fund to use to better our town with, you know,
$2,900.
so.
50.
So the first three numbers need to be reduced by 5% and moved
Yeah.
over.
Move over to.
Funded that.
Did you give yourself a raise, hon? I'm
I put
asking.
50,000 there, but we don't have to do any of those. I actually gave everybody like, we can
I think
do the
that,
26.
no, I think that you're worth more than 50 cents an hour. Personally.
I agree, I think it should be at least $1.
At least,
It's kind of a slap in the face. I remember one job. I got it.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And I went, a nickel?
Yeah, exactly.
50 cents is the new nickel.
Yeah.
What is it, 26.50 now?
Well, right now I'm 26.
We should go up to 20, I think we should go up to 27.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little more than 3%. Oh,
3.8.
yeah, at least that.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. Do we have, here again, whatever other finance officers making nowadays? I mean,
It varies.
I'm sure it does.
Some I know that make more than me and I know some that make less than me. So,
It's probably local economy dependent. to a
yeah,
large
and I think,
extent, right?
yeah, it kind of depends on.
like Sioux Falls finance officers can.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, that's different.
Right.
They're up in six figures, you know, so,
Aberdeen, is Aberdeen, it's probably second class, right?
yes,
So like,
yeah.
I have evidence, the gal in Piedmont is actually the girl I used to go to school. And she's been there for quite, she makes less than I do.
At where?
Piedmont.
She makes what?
She makes less than I do.
Piedmont, well, Piedmont, I mean, we could go through this, that's only been a town for a few years, you know, they were not a town. Somerset became a township before Piedmont ever was one, and I don't know what their population is, but, well, that doesn't mean we're lowering your wages to her level, so.
So $27.
So we're moving 5%, but then adding,
I mean, 50 cents, if we're only in 50 cents, that's gonna go. It's only 1,000, it's for a year.
I don't.
you need to figure out this one.
Oh, 39,975, that's time and a half. for
Yes, so we
overtimes.
figure overtime,
Mhm.
probably always done it, I think, is 6 hours a month. On average, I mean, I try not to.
Meeting nights.
You were still trying not to do
I
that.
still try not
You-
to do
you-
that. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, if I can flex my time, I would rather do that. than-
Yeah.
Okay, so if we think-
So everything changes in, well, not everything, but all the,
5% off, that would change that to 56.23. If we took the 5% out and moved that over to BBB and did the dollar increase, that brings the total to 56,123. To put the,
For the general, it's 56.13.
or yeah,
That's without.
that's moving that 5% to the BBB and
Mhm.
giving the dollar rates. So
So we're changing it from
23, and then what is the
5% to BBB to 5%.
yeah,
What was the 5% number?
so it's
211.
15, 29.54.
Can you double check that one? Not from 12.
Oh,
2,954. I thought you said 29,000.
oh, yeah,
By
no,
40.
2009. Yeah,
Gotcha.
because that together is, because the total is 59,076.
And then we're adding the 1292 because that's what the second person's wage is. Is that correct?
That's down in there's a separate line for the admin wages.
And the BBB, I guess, when I was
Yeah,
adding the
BBB.
2940, it's in addition to the 12.
Correct. Correct. So we'd have to add up to that. 712 plus
Let's say it right here.
10,736 times 0.0769, and this would change to
Still.
5.
And is payroll tax still 6.2% total?
7.65. And retirement is 6%.
So the numbers that are here reflect the moving to 20% to BBB instead.
Is moving 5%.
These
Or
numbers.
those over there, yeah, that was, because this is the 25 notes.
Yeah, so, while she's figuring that, the admin, which is the administrative assistant, right?
Mhm.
So, if we're going to shift more work onto that role, we're gonna have to pay that person more so that we can get, somebody that will be, interested in taking it, that will be able to do all these extra things. So we need to figure out what those things are gonna be and figure out how much more the compensation will be. So
What does she get now? Where did they get now?
18.
No, 17. Lindsay was making 17 and that's what started Kim on that. Kim's only working part-time.
Well, that is something that we maybe need to discuss also. If we're going to make that position a full-time position, or if we're gonna try to make it into 2 part-time positions. And I think that has a lot to do with you, Terry, how you think it would be better set up. I mean, the one thing nice about having 2 part-times is for one thing, we wouldn't have to pay the benefit packages, so that's saving the town money. And if and you need extra help, then instead of having 80 hours in the office per week, it could be 90 or 100. And yet without the benefits for them. And right now, the person we have hired right now, Kim, she only wants part-time. But we interviewed her the last time when we had interviewed Lindsay, and she did well. And so we just called her to see if she still was interested in the job, and she said yes. So that saved us the expense of uh, publicizing again, and it seems how it's only been 3 months, or a little over 3 months. So I think it would be awesome to have 2 part-time, and maybe if we get the development that we're planning on getting, it might be 2 full-time and 1 part-time, and we'd have somebody that could just step up then to the full-time position but how does everybody else feel about that?
I don't know if Mark had a comment or a question.
All I would say is for somebody in this office to get the dedication out of them and the future growth and somebody we want to stay and be a part of the community and contribute and take on other projects. I think I would start with a full-time employee. A part-time employee, I'm not sure that they really have I'll say commitment to wanting to do something. So you could go through, train them how to do everything. And a full-time job could open up somewhere and they could just go. I'd make it worth somebody's while if they want to come in and be a part.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we're doing part-time just because I think Kim wants to do part-time.
Sure.
And so I think ideally in the future, you're right, that we should have full-time, but anyways, Aaron.
Well, part of it right now, things are just like they're picking up pieces and putting together programs that like policies, procedures, like formal ways of doing things from scratch. So right now, she's like up your ears, right? But that'll smooth out in time, and then maybe then a part-time will be appropriate. I think it's just hard to say right now at all what the future of that.
Well,
I think we should keep ourselves available to having a full-time at the very least. I don't think we should downplay our budget to take away the option of a full-time at this time.
Well, if anything, so what we're doing is we're talking about 2026 and what we'd like to see then.
Yeah.
And so the thing about it is if we are gonna get the full-time position that Mark mentioned, that will actually be expected to do more than that person is even right now, or has done in the past, because we're going to, kind of shift what once was a finance officer thing over to administrative assistant based on the job descriptions that we have now. So for Terry,
Hmm.
you know, because the thing is, so, and this is, I'm going by kind of on just what you hear, right? Because I wasn't here for a long time and everything like that, but you hear like the finance officer here was expected to do a lot of things and, you know, like be kind of the pseudo parliamentarian and to be kind of an attorney light and, you know, all of this type of stuff. But really the job description doesn't support those expectations. And so the thing is, if we need somebody to do those things, and I think we do, because that was the expectation of the finance officer position, then that should naturally transition over to the administrative assistant person. But then, you know, in order to get the type of person that is going to want to take on that role, like Mark mentioned, they're going to have to pay them more, you know, and so, for now, if you guys don't want to increase that number now, and come back to it at the end, but, you know, maybe be thinking about percentage wise, you know, what percent more are we going to have to expect them to do versus what they're doing now? And maybe Terry, you can answer that better than anybody because you have, as far as I know, the most knowledge in here of how this office runs and how it's supposed to run in the future. So anyway, so we can, oh yeah, Connie?
Do you have applications on hand, or do you have to advertise for that? Or you have people on file that maybe have filled out one for full-time? I mean, do you have applicants already on hand?
We had to get the handful.
Well, I'm just saying because somebody reached out on Facebook Messenger and asked if they were hiring because they noticed it was only Terry in here. So they asked me, and I'm like, you know, I don't really know. Can people just off the street come in that are qualified to fill out an application, or do you have, is there a process you have to follow?
We have to advertise. However, there's no reason that somebody couldn't come in and show their intent. And if, when we decide we have to do something, then we could call them. I don't know. The problem is right now, we don't know where we're going, you know, with
I'm
having,
thinking 2026.
yeah,
Cal said, you know,
right.
down the line.
Mhm.
I was just curious.
No, always submit a resume.
Always.
More of a resume type of
Mhm.
job. We used to have a tear off pad of a very generic employment application that people could fill out, and that was usually only for someone that needed their check mark on their non-employment, you know, unemployment.
Yeah, so, anyway, just, I guess be thinking about what that position is gonna have to be in 2026. It might take a work session.
It'll take a work, yeah.
To build the job description and compare it to finance officer's job description and make sure we have our bases covered there. So
Yep.
anyways,
Agreed.
so get the numbers figured out on the
Yeah,
top one.
so the first one's gonna be 56,123,
Okay.
and then the payroll is 4294, the payroll tax. 4294. And the retirement, we don't have a retirement item in BBB, so I think that always comes out, the whole thing comes out, so this is gonna be, so 3545
In the retirement.
in the retirement for, yeah, retirement expense.
Why did that number go down?
Oh,
Because we took 5% of the total wage and put it
to be unique.
into BBB.
3555.
Okay, 20% in BBB though?
No, we said we were gonna do.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah.
But then she,
But it wasn't being done.
but she didn't feel like that was a proper assessment of her job wages, her wages compared to the job she does. So she changed these figures to zero amount to go to BB and B.
57 was my full wage without anything going to BBB.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah,
5%.
It went from 48 to 57.
Do we still pay the 500 a year we must to the, workman's comp?
Yeah, we just haven't paid that this year.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I thought I thought once you were paid up and nobody'd used it for a long time, you didn't have to pay anymore.
Right, yeah, because they do, you fill it out and then they do an audit, you pay it, and then we usually end up getting a credit back.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to estimate the wages and all that, you know. Yeah.
Yep. Okay,
I think I just got that actually, just the other day.
okay, thank you. And so next would be the health insurance? And did you call and find out if they're expecting an increase next year?
I didn't know, I think I did put a little bit, because right now we're paying like 1,043 something a month.
Okay,
So, which is like 12.5, so I did I bumped up a little bit, but I think last year there was a 2%, increase 2%. Went from 984 to 1043, I think it was.
I would leave that because I don't know, will they do it, okay? So, and then the admin, we're gonna leave as it is, okay? So that takes us down to professional fees expense. And we're saying 8,000? We've spent,
Golden West was supposed to leave, what's that for? It's like $550 a month, I think we paid for.
and are we under contract on that, or can they increase that amount?
We have a contract with them. I don't remember if it's just a year or.
Golden West, you said?
Yeah, they do our IT, like, new emails and stuff. They do the backup on our server.
And now, am I remembering, we talked about changing that to a different company or something? Eric,
What's that?
something that would be available online that would be cheaper? Do I remember
Golden West?
something like that? Yeah.
They're IT, basically my computer's broken, fix it for me situation, but there are other areas where we can definitely, American Legal is a money sink. That's just a terrible money sink. We don't need that. That's a big one. But yeah, no, Golden West, I don't know if we can do much without them. Right, Terry? You're pretty much
Well,
there.
so we leased our copier from A&B, and they supposedly do kind of the same thing. I was trying to get a quote from them and it never.
They never
The
got
guy
back?
the guy that was gonna give me a quote then but he was gone. They let him go, so, and then I tried to call up and I just never, it's just frustrating, get back, so it's like, okay, so we just. And Golden West have been, easy to deal with, they're,
Well, that helps.
they represent the county, so.
Okay.
I think 8,000 is a good number. We're gonna hit that. Gonna go over that this year.
And part of that 7,000 is just because of the changeover in staff, and every time you change over, you gotta reset the path or the email and set up an email. We've had, third person in here, so that's, I think why that's higher than it should be. But then it's been 14 the year before, so I don't know.
Well, there was a lot of changes that year too.
Yeah, well, so I
Yeah.
did.
There should be 10 since it was
Openness.
12 and then 14.
Go to 10,
Yeah.
okay? Publishing expense,
Libby don't need to publish basically for publishing for jobs, right? That's been called the finance office usually.
so that's probably okay, leave it at that. Repairs and maintenance, now is that where the lights, no, the lights came out of the board expense? So,
You know, actually, I think I took the lights out of there.
Did you?
Yeah, because if you look at repairs and maintenance up at the board,
Uh-huh.
$790 and it was $830.
I'll see, you
So
must
I'm
have,
pretty sure I took it out of the finance office.
okay,
So, but that's, I mean, we won't have to do that.
right.
Probably gonna have to do some HVAC work here pretty soon, all right? We can't keep up with a room full of people, so.
Plus 2,000 in that.
So add that, make that up to 3,000 or to,
Well, I mean, we're probably should have somebody come look at it and see, but we're probably not knocking on maintenance. Probably gonna be looking at replacement.
ouch, okay.
Yeah, see, if it's really dirty, then you could get it.
Mm-hmm.
It should work for a while.
It hasn't worked well or correctly for many, many years. It was original with
We
the
did
building.
replace the motor earlier this year, one of the fans, I think, in there.
It's still not really boosting out.
Yeah. And it's.
Unless any of
Do
the
you have
lights
a
are closed.
comment on that? Well, I'd say we at least do 3,000.
You might as well. What's that?
Repairs and maintenance.
But shouldn't that be added to the boards and not under the FO, so that we're keeping the building maintenance under the board and not the FO?
Oh, probably, or it should be split. One of the, somehow.
However, is easiest for her to account for it when the bill comes through.
Mm-hmm.
So she can make a note where it goes to, but if we're doing the lights and the painting and the stairwell, or, you know, we're talking about the cage stuff, is that what the LED, like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it under the board so that it doesn't look like the FO department's eating up repair and maintenance costs that aren't FO related, really.
Okay.
So we increased the trustees repair and maintenance
I guess,
to,
let's do 4,000.
Okay.
But we're leaving finance officer the same.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna,
Oh,
the finance officer shouldn't be doing that. And we should just X out the 1,500 there.
But there's other, I mean, repair and maintenance on whatever computers or,
So then, so it's office supplies and stuff that come in under,
Sound
for
equipment.
repairing office equipment and things that come in under repair and maintenance for finance officer. And then stuff for the building comes in under board.
Right.
So then are we gonna have to move the bill for the lights up to the board one then?
it's already done, isn't it? And so,
No point in switching it.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
it's all
fund.
general fund. I mean, it's a different department, but I mean,
Right.
but yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think it's because there's money in that.
oh,
okay, so then those two will stay the same there at the end, right?
The published and then repair and
Mhm.
maintenance are the same.
Yeah.
250 and 50.
Yeah. Supplies and materials, so that, are we needing a new computer?
Well, the talk is we're going to get a new one out here and this one's gonna be moved to the admin. Because that's the oldest computer we have right now is what's at the admin desk.
And that one,
They
would
were
be-
like,
that would be more appropriate on the board of trustees. Buying that new computer, because that one can be given to the admin assistant.
So then again, do we need to increase the boards on,
But the computers are used for the actual work of the town, which I think is why it was under, so. Just the same way that the
Cool.
repair and maintenance is for the same equipment. So the purchase of the equipment would fall under the same department, don't you think?
I don't know, if we're gonna transition this one into a board computer that's basically the server for the meetings and everything. That should probably go under board, don't you think? Because that's the main reason why we need to get a newer computer out here, is so that we can run the audio visual system through that and actually have it work well. And be able to maybe live straight to YouTube and stuff eventually, you know, because this guy right now, he can barely handle what he's doing.
Yeah, it gets a little hot, it gets a little. Well, our CPU consumption is 5.4%, 5% right now. It should be closer to 2%.
So then we need to plan on it coming out of our supply material for the board, which is budgeted at 2,000.
Yeah.
So we'll have to up that.
Or do you need to increase it? Because so far, all we've done is increase on it.
Well, that'd be done by the end of this year. I'm thinking this is like a next month project. Because we did, what do we have?
So there's
Already
still
over.
money left in there, yeah.
We're over.
Went over on that.
526.
About 500 left and
You went back.
No, we have,
FO department for equipment.
So we could transfer from FO for that, right? We got
Use up there.
300 some left in there. Which is,
how come, am I looking at the wrong? Board of Trustees,
Looking at supply material.
supplies and materials. Oh, I'm on the lower one, sorry. Okay.
We've overspent by 500 on ours. We were saying the FO still has about 400 left on hers for supply and material so far this year.
yeah, that's not gonna.
That's not enough.
Well, we can't change this year's in this. This is for next year, so.
What do we need to buy?
And then you also have your other expense and you have your equipment expense.
Mhm.
So there's still some money in the equipment.
Yeah, the point is if we want to do this computer this year, then we can't take it out of these budgets.
No, it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with this.
I'm looking at
Out
what's
of
still.
the current
Well,
available in these buckets that we're talking about.
How much do we need?
Because this is what's available right now in these 2025 actuals,
mhm.
right?
What is the new computer gonna cost?
Oh, I'm not gonna go with a new machine.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna be, yeah, no, my,
This is what's spent already, right? In this column here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so the
what-
difference is what's remaining.
Yeah.
So the finance office you could take whatever, 200, 300, whatever, out of their expense for buying this computer to use for them.
yeah.
And there's also some in their repair and maintenance account as well
Right.
to,
The equipment under FO has, what?
Well, but that's for our copier.
Okay,
That's
so
lease.
that's pretty
So
fixed,
that's,
okay,
yeah, that's,
okay, yeah.
there is in your other expense.
About 500 in FO.
Mhm.
Between supply and
I mean, I'm gonna be
repair and
using,
maintenance. there's-
using, looking for some washed up streamer's old streaming rig. Somebody who's just like, or they upgraded and they're like, all right, here's what my old rig that worked, that was cutting edge 3 years ago. Isn't good enough for them, but still way more than good enough for us.
Correct.
That's,
And this one, that one really is good enough for the admin office?
yeah, for them,
It
yeah.
really is.
Checking
Okay.
emails,
All right.
doing
I
stuff
just-
that's, it's identical to what Terry
the same
has.
one.
Oh,
Gail
okay.
had bought both of those, I believe.
But like, so right now, what we're recording and it's encoding the video and it's using what essentially is all in one PC, where nowadays you want that done on an external video card, an actual like gaming video card, the video encoding, and it parallel recording and streaming on the card. It's just a hardware thing. But like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, technology is way more than what we need. So that stuff's used all over the place here next month.
Okay.
So question. Two questions ties into one. So what happens with the old computers? The last one I purchased here in 17 was a touch screen, large, with a keyboard. Did that get surplus?
I'm pretty sure it's downstairs.
There's a pile of junk.
You know,
There's
we have
stories
some
from-
electronic stuff and I took it into public work or Black Hills Works. And they have an office right downtown. And then, I mean, they were just thrilled to death, even though it was outdated, because they said that
That
they have.
computer was
they have
amazing.
people
It
that
was
work
a huge
on it.
monitor, a split screen, a touch.
And I mean, you can get, a sheet, donation sheet, so. That's what I did with some wires that we had left over.
Yeah, there are mics, there are keyboards, there are screens downstairs, there's just no actual extra PC sticking around, it's powerful.
And that's my other question is the laptops that we have for board members or whoever that we check out
Still here.
are still, I have one of them and it
And I
was
have
hard
one
to
of
get
them,
it to up,
And I have a
right?
hard time.
I have. a
I
hard
have
time.
mine at home. I actually brought it today and was trying to, it's just spins and spins and spins. So-
Yeah. So do those need to be surplus? Do we need to look at adding next year to maybe a couple tablets? I think tablets would be a lot easier to follow through than for all of us to bring a big laptop.
Right.
Because those are, I thought about bringing it to a meeting, but there's really no room.
The rate that hardware is developing right now, the used market is absolutely crashed, it's tanked. All these big AI labs they're turning over their video cards every year, they're moving billions and billions of dollars worth of hardware, so the market's just saturated with used stuff. It's also anything we would have is basically garbage. Probably. You almost have to get rid of computers.
Okay. Well, so,
Goes into supplying the material.
yeah,
If the board wanted to invest in a couple tablets for board members that are interested in having them for packets to save on paper. Or to be able to pull up, some of those attachments for streets and so. I guess it all goes on. So are we changing the board's amount or the FO? There's room there for this year to cover what you wanted for the
So-
computer?
how much do we put for, supplies and materials for the board computer for next year?
For next year,
Is that 2,000 right now?
And there's the propane at the shop.
Yeah, that was the propane. And so it's gonna be another 1,500 next year. Give or take, right? I mean, probably more. So that only leaves less than 500 for a computer out of that bucket. So what you thinking, you're gonna need 1,000, 1,500?
no, probably $500-600 probably.
So should we bump that up to 25?
Maybe.
A little extra buffer.
Yeah.
Bump that up by 500.
So you're talking the board,
Supplies and
supplies and materials, okay.
Okay, so then that takes care of that. Let's go to materials for finance officer. So what is this cover, Terry?
Like office supplies. Look, I know like with the paper for the newsletter, when we buy colored paper for that, so
Okay,
I'm wondering, is that something I can take out the BBB funds?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think the
I
whole,
don't think they had been doing that, and I'm like, I think it really should.
the whole thing could be under BB and B.
So I will probably, what I could do is I could do a journal entry to correct some of that. Because we bought a lot of colored paper
Mhm.
specifically just for the newsletter, and it's always gotten taken out of finance office, so I think I'll be okay with that once I move that paper
Okay.
cost out of there, so.
Okay, travel and conference,
And they're, I believe I checked in finance office schools is here next year.
well, that's,
Conference.
yeah, that's easier than
Mhm.
Sioux Falls or Aberdeen or any of those, so that's good, okay. Any other conferences for next year that, you
I'm
think?
not sure where that.
Are you going to go to
Here.
the regular conference?
This year I'm not.
No, not this year.
Because I was planning to take a vacation
Oh, that's
in October and I can't.
Yes.
And actually, Kim's gonna be gone. She'd already had a vacation plan, like the 19th through the 26th, which is.
September.
Yeah, yeah, so it's. Something like, it's right when that, just before that, so I don't,
You're not gonna go on vacation?
I'm gonna go on vacation,
Oh,
and
okay.
rather than go to conference.
Go to the okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, goodness gracious. Okay,
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
okay. So those numbers should all be all right.
fine, yeah.
Okay. So phone and fax expense.
What about utilities? Is that for like electrical? and
Yeah,
stuff in here?
yep.
Well, shouldn't these being, at least include like a 3% increase each year? There's still a little cushion from the amount that we actually spent last year and the year before. For that 2%, I think that maybe that'd be covered in a utility expense, but what about the other one? One in fact came in at 3,400 and then 3,200
I'd say we're still okay there.
and 35.
Yeah.
Or internet's coming out of it. We're going through Mount Rushmore, right?
Mhm.
And the other expense, like a miscellaneous, do we know what that's for, the 1,500?
Anything that doesn't fit in those other accounts, guess I'm not sure.
It's kind of an extra.
Yeah, something that, if it doesn't fit one, the other one's in.
You could either move that or leave it, but if you want that contingency fund, you might take it from there. If need be. The copier, was that,
It's their lease for the copier.
do we have a?
You have like a 5-year lease on that.
And
Change that.
We actually get more color copied with the new lease because the old one, so it's actually cheaper than what we were paying last year. So,
And software, that won't change.
yeah, so we're paying that Adobe. We have Adobe Pro that we pay for, so we can edit PDFs.
okay,
That's the 250.
okay.
What about our actual software? Where does that come out of? For
I think we took it out to professional. That's where,
under the professional of Echo.
yeah, that gets split between different departments.
So that we can't really change the total because we haven't finished the admin yet. So we can just move on then, correct? So that brings us to the attorney fees. That's a kind of a contentious subject. Do we want to deal with that at the end and get through some other stuff first? Yeah, we don't want 6 hours. You know, it just, he's ready.
It won't take 6 hours.
Okay.
All right, come back to that custodian.
So that's Vonda.
Vonda.
Yeah.
Did you give her a raise?
Yeah.
Of,
Well, 50 cents.
50 cents.
She got 50 cents this year, so. She told me, I know, she's. She's, give her a raise. I know, she's,
oh, come
she
on.
was thankful last year when she got one.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
She does a good job. She doesn't work, she used to come in twice a week and she's actually just been coming in once a week. I think she's pretty busy with the coffee shop, so, but it's fine. It's fine.
I was gonna say, I don't, but looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, she goes down there and then she's been cleaning like the marshal's office.
And Eric's happy about that.
Yeah.
Looks good to me.
Okay, so that one we'll leave as it is. Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, engineer,
That I wasn't sure. I did take with his new contract, I did put that into the water and sewer. Because previously we've always taken the engineer out of general fund, but since we
Well,
now
this
have a
is under
contract,
project.
but we have a contract now that they're charging so much for water and so much for sewer. So I took those hours and put.
Shouldn't be
I know.
focusing up and down.
and technically, the operations costs are coming out of the water and sewer
Right,
with the rate increase in January.
right.
What we modeled in water with before we signed the contract, so. And I think the contract total is about 88,000 a year. But we modeled like 100, I think at least 100. I'll have to look at it again. It may have been 120, but I think it was at least 100. When we calculated what our new water and sewer rate would be to pass in January. So we do have a cushion right now in that. And then the increases over the next 2 years as part of the Banish contract should be covered in that as well, I believe. So, I mean, this one here
So would that be,
is gonna be basically with the on-call.
Yeah,
And,
building permit and
building.
right,
building on call and the office on call. I think for the two.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, and so then, like for inspections and permits and stuff, this will be like a two-way street because we'll pay them, but then the permit fees will come back and cover
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What's right there? Mark,
What permit fees will cover this?
building permits and inspections and stuff like that.
He wouldn't be doing the inspections or the permit reviews that are costing us money unless we have that permit application submitted. And the permit application has a fee with it that is meant to cover the cost that we incur to have it reviewed and the project inspected at the end.
Have we calculated how much those fees are gonna go up?
It's 65 cents a square foot, isn't that what it was?
61, I think.
67, 67, yeah,
cents a square foot.
Correct, yeah.
so this really doesn't count for that, because that's a wash.
It's supposed to, but this is still where you plug in the
You
number.
plug in the numbers, so did we plug out the numbers in the budget?
Well, did we in revenue for permit?
I don't know, that better be checked.
We were uncertain about that, so we
Building permit.
left it at 2,000. 2,000 is a far cry from 55 or 60. But it's also, he's reviewed the permits, inspections. You recall when we agreed to have Neil work with Pennington County
Yes.
on
Annexation and,
Yeah,
the 3 mile limit territorial, yeah.
And he has his own on call. Does he have his own, does the town planner have their own?
Line item?
In here, or is it gonna be our engineer?
and any TIF work would be included in here until the TIF was created and the fund created to be able to move those initial costs over to it.
Mhm.
So there's the TIF, and if we have 4 of them going on, that'll be quite substantial.
Mhm.
As well as his on call. And his attending meetings, is that general?
No, that's,
Update reports, is that split 3 ways? Water, sewer, permit,
that should just be part of his contract, but just to be here,
should be,
yeah.
but
The contract administration is
Mhm.
a separate thing in the contract.
might be good to pile up all of his current contracts for this and that and this and talk to him about
See where it's at?
exactly what's covered and what's not.
Or
How we're getting the revenue back to pay for it.
This particular one, 65,000, this is just to cover engineering for new construction, stuff like that, building permits.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the differences here that have been in the budgets the last 3 years. And so, I know a lot of this here is gonna, a lot of the overage that we see is gonna be covered in the grant money and, the loan money that, and, so we get the grants back from Black Hills Council.
Well, they help submit, it actually comes back from the state.
Okay, but they're, so we submit it to them and then, so a lot of this is gonna go down for the expenditure, right? As
Right, because I submitted 365,000 that we're getting back, which will go when we do the supplement, which help cover the supplement for the engineer.
Okay. Is this, I'm so sorry, I'm just lost
No,
here.
I-
So does this then include
So
the engineering stuff for the water and that contract? So that's,
Well, that,
that would technically come out of water.
Water.
Out of
next
water.
year, we're gonna put a line item in water and sewer fund.
right, so is it on top of the 65,000, the contract to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is, in my opinion, it's almost, well, it's too high. Unless you're talking about the TIF, but then again, TIF has its own section. And I know we have to have the funding to pay for it until the TIF pays us back, which is a year or two. So that's where these fees come out of. However, that being said, like the water and sewer agreement, that no longer goes in this line item. So that's spread out into the water and the sewer. So I would say this particular line item could be dropped, not dropped, but way down the line.
If you look
But-
back in 23, it was only 27,
It's really a
28,000.
contingency. It's not associated with any particular contract, or the particular contract applied to sewer.
Well, I wouldn't say that because we have an on-call contract with them for
Okay.
both Anthony and Neil,
That's
Right.
like-
you know, and, I would say probably unless we have another, maybe, I mean, building permits, could that go in and out of here? Because we're running the permits through Benish, the inspections. So paying out of here to pay for the inspection and then depositing in here when we get the inspection fees back, all of those type of things, I think. I don't know that, like Linda said, I don't know that we need the bucket to be 65 grand, but what should that be? I mean, because
Yeah, that I don't know, but
I know for the water and sewer operations contract in there, there's a $5,000 line item just for contract administration.
Right.
Because, you know, kind of like a 3-part contract, we have water operation, sewer operation, and then the administration of contractors working on said systems.
well, I think it definitely needs to be lowered. That is my opinion. But also I take notice that on the next page, we do have, there's planning and zoning still in there.
Yeah.
And so planning and zoning could be, I mean, that's what he's doing. He's going through the planning and zoning. So those funds could go into that part for his permits and expenses. Yeah, that would be the proper place, I would think, to put that.
So add the professional fee expense to P and Z,
Yeah.
roofing,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be 101, 46, 520, yeah. Professional fees. 42, 200. Professional fee.
The on-calls, we agreed initially 10,000 for the building inspector.
It's like 10,000 a year for engineer. And I don't think it's that much for Neil. Like 7,500 or something.
Yeah, he's.
So like 22 would be probably more than enough to cover those.
Yeah. I don't know. Well,
I would think that under engineer, we should have something, just for, but I don't, it doesn't need to be $10,000 maybe, I mean, because we'll move 22,000 to P and Z, or 20,000, or whatever it is.
Well, we still gotta cover the on-call, which is probably around 20, let's say, for him and you.
So you think the on-call is gonna be more than $1,000 a month? And $1,000 a month would be 12,000, so,
Yeah, I mean, maybe we put 25 in there. And then take a look and see what we're doing right now as far as on-call and general engineering expenses. Because the thing is most of our engineering bills are tied to projects,
yes.
and so I don't know if we already have it split out to where we have general engineering and then the other
Right.
line items tied in because it's, I don't know if that's broken out yet, but um, we'll have to take a look at that, just see what that number should be, Just my reckoning, I guess, right now is I'm thinking 25, but just kind of a uneducated guess, let's say.
Put 20 in P and Z and 25 here, and that would be a 45.
That's probably good.
Instead of the 65, you put in 25.
25 there and 20 in P and Z and the professional expenses. Not there yet.
That seems still like a lot to me, but we'll put that in there. And that just, sorry, but that just means that you've got a lot of work to do tomorrow, and we're not gonna be ready for tomorrow night. So, just telling everybody that.
Sorry.
So, no, it's, no, it's, I mean, that's,
Wow, Friday.
that's, I mean, budgets, this part of the budget is not easy, and it's gotta be harder for you guys sitting out there than it is even for us, so, I would think. So, most of us have been through this before.
Well, it's not too hard if they haven't left.
Well.
They can leave.
I got a general question. All these new things with the engineer, building costs, engineering, it would be a great help for people like me if somebody would maybe sit down and give an informative thing and contractors could come up just to see what kind of, because it looks to me like my costs are gonna go way up. So it would just, I think it would really help. I don't think we want to discourage contractors from coming to town. I think we want to get them in town. But just a good informational brief on how it's gonna be, what it's gonna cost. Is this gonna be over and above what I paid last year for this, just little things like that.
So maybe after we get our fee schedule revamped and everything's done there, that would be a really good idea.
Yeah, just so we can plan on what our costs are gonna be and build it into things.
Okay,
I'd really appreciate it.
good idea, thank you. Okay, so that we're done then with engineer, we put that at 25,000, so that brings us down to law enforcement. What did you figure there?
I left everything the same except I added 300 for uniforms. Wasn't sure.
Law enforcement, there's gonna
Wasn't
be,
sure where we were at.
some work to do with how we handle law enforcement. And so we did put it on Marshall to provide some equipment. But we kind of need to figure out a way to, because it's still required for work, to compensate for that, so that's something we need to work on.
Well, he had some of his own already, and he preferred to use his own rather than what we had available, as I recall, on part of it. And I mean, I get that. If you're used to your own gun, you're used to your own gun, or whatever, you know what I'm
Well, he
saying?
didn't have anything
Anything,
done with
well.
the sidearm, yeah, but so we'll need like an allowance or something essentially.
Well,
That's
another
what it
thing is the car.
Well, this is a big discussion here. I mean, we can work on this for an hour, but yeah, you're right. Which reminds me, Aaron, you took the car to do some work on it and you did say that you got it all worked out. It was just hooked up wrong or,
There was a pop circuit breaker. I do need to replace a couple of lights. When we can, we gotta drag the old pop car up. I need to put my own eyes on it and see how much of the stories about it are true and how much are not. But I'm gonna figure out what that thing's worth. You need to cannibalize some lighting off of it. We got at least a couple lights on the Marshall truck that is functional. We have a couple lights that are out, and we need to see if we can cannibalize them off the other
off the
car.
other car.
But the radios, all that came back to life. The suspension's tight, the steering's tight, it runs like a dream. Transmission's just good. Everything about that truck is great. We don't need to do anything except.
So is there an expense in here for when he goes to Pier?
1,500 in travel. Travel conference is 1,500.
Is that gonna cover 3 months of it?
Well, and we have to pay his wage while he's there too.
Right, but it's gonna have some expense, I mean,
Well, he's gonna have mileage, right?
yeah, well, that's what I mean,
But can don't they house and feed him there?
They house and feed them, yeah.
So,
but he'll have mileage
you'll have mileage,
plus his wages.
but the wages will come out of his
Right,
wages.
right.
So the only thing that'll come out there. Mileage.
And I mean, just as a general, are we still thinking he's just gonna be part-time?
Well, that's what I wasn't sure.
I mean, and are we not giving him a raise? I mean, I'm just asking here,
Well, I thought we kind of talked about giving him a raise after he gets done with his class.
Cool, yeah, he's, yeah,
We'll be fine at the beginning of this year.
So we're,
And
so we're,
we need to go to Custer County and see if they're willing to give
It's
the other
a,
half, make him full time.
a raise to 23 an hour after he completes his class on his current part-time rate that we're covered. And then some, I can go the other way. Let me go the other way. 30. Hold on.
So he
We
said.
can
he
do
doesn't-
25 hours at that 23 rate under that $30,000. We can do 25 hours a week. If we're gonna go to Custer, I mean, that doesn't really have anything to do with our budget necessarily. So like,
It does if they cover half of it.
so what, well, like, anything to do with what
So
we're
do we only
budgeting now.
budget for half? Since we're asking
So
them to pay the other half?
I don't know, they're not
I
gonna
just
pay it,
don't look for him to pay
they're
it.
not gonna pay it.
Or
So,
So, looking back at previous years, there was all kinds of surplus. Did that money just go somewhere else, or is it still in?
It's still in there.
Is it still available there?
It goes, at the end of the year, the budget's all zero out.
Because I would say a good presence of a town marshal is only good for this town. I don't see where it could,
so is there an item on here where that surplus has been collected over the years that we can see?
No, because this is just your budget.
It just
goes
washes
into-
out to the end of the general fund.
right,
Oh, it just goes to general?
yes.
So,
And that is partially because of, as I recall, I had made a suggestion years ago that if we had surpluses, they should go into their own savings account, so that we would have it for next year. That is not legal.
no.
So, that's not legal, so you can't do that. And to me,
It's not a checkbook, it's a.
well, right, but it's not legal, so it has to go into the general fund and then you end up using it on other things or whatever, it's,
So as far as like, we have all these professional fees, so on. Right now, we're budgeted quite a bit for all these other things. Terry, do you know if like what's in all here would be enough to cover him? Retirement, basically benefits package.
So-
Is that already in there?
So the 30,000 would, no, we don't,
Like-
nothing for health insurance. So is he gonna be part-time? Because
Well,
I think.
right, that's what be it. If we go click over to full-time, then that's the.
So
that's
the 30,000, how I got that was at 20 hours a week. That's 1,040 a year, so that was 28. We could have went up to $28 each. So we didn't know who we were gonna get at the time.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
To get somebody that was certified or not, so.
And as I recall, he thought his wife would always carry the insurance
Okay.
and that he wouldn't need that. And
There's nothing.
that's another thing we should probably ask him.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's a change to our ordinance too, because we specifically say in there, for full-time, you get
right,
insurance.
But right now, he's not
retirement.
gonna be full-time.
well, I mean, we need to ask him. I mean, is he willing to still work for us part-time? Maybe he isn't, maybe he's changed
Well, I
his
think
mind.
Crystal would like him real badly. But,
Well, I mean, I would like to keep him here.
yeah, right.
But that is, and I'm all for putting him on full-time if the funding is there myself. I'm just speaking for me and what I think that the town needs.
If he has to, if dispatch wants him to clock in and out every time he's on call. And you say Custer County wants him badly, where he spends probably 75% of his time in county surrounding area incidences rather than just in town. It would prove to the county that they're getting what they want. They get a part-time officer that's already doing that many hours in the county and this many hours in town, just by his clock in with dispatch back and forth. So why do we think that they won't help cover that if they want him?
Well,
Is there a difference?
well,
The
really,
patch on his shoulder?
it's not like it's not so much up to the sheriff's department whether or not they take one, it's up to the county commissioners. So
Right.
that's why me and Don need to set up a meeting with some commissioners and see if.
And then we had talked about getting the sheriff to do a letter of support to the commissioners. I guess we really won't know until that's all been done and hopefully done before the end of the year.
But meanwhile,
So that,
it'd be nice to have a conversation with them before next week so that we can have a better budget figured out here.
Well, they're also working on their budget too at the same time, so.
Right.
It'd be a good time to talk to him.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have to roll this?
$50 for the phone and fax, is that enough?
When is their commissioner's next meeting?
Wednesday.
Maybe we can get put on their agenda?
No, not usually by this time, no. Can we?
Next week, Wednesday,
Yeah, it's next week, Wednesday.
let them know tomorrow.
Could get on tomorrow?
Okay. They won't put their agenda on until Monday.
Tomorrow's today's Wednesday.
Tammy?
Oh.
I keep thinking it's Wednesday.
Eric, he said he would love to work full-time here, but there's no money. So that's his feelings on it.
He was also trying to work on a cops grant.
Yes.
Yes.
And that would come into federal grants under the revenue and
Mhm.
whatnot. So I think this is a hard one to even determine on any of these
You want me
numbers.
to see if we can get you on the agenda?
Yeah.
If you and Don want to go,
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll go,
I'll get over the bar tomorrow and.
If you get a chance, ask the sheriff if he will
Mark?
add a letter of,
Meeting a marshal here is important. I would try and make it an attractive thing for him, for his family, because he's a young guy. If we'll never find, I think we should make it as attractive as the town possibly can.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
what do you think?
When the board chose him, part of our discussion was the fact that, knowing that this year especially, we could not afford to pay him full-time, but that our hopes and dreams were that he would be with us for 20 years and be able to retire from this town. And to hire, as we grow, that he would have people underneath him that he would
Sorry.
train.
train. And I think that's still the hope of this board, you know, that's what we want. We want somebody here.
But on the same token, he will not be full-time before November, December, January,
Did he give you any fuel?
till probably the first part of February. Well, he won't be able to work
He's
full-time,
not.
because he's gonna be in Pier for that stuff.
That's full time though, but that's different. That's training, yeah.
A
Mhm.
lot of fuel.
That could be.
My train of thought.
Well,
I
that's what I
guess his
said.
phone and
We can
phone
leave
and
out
fax
the
has
wages.
wondering, what is that?
He has to have it, at one time, they had to have their own line downstairs
Well, I know, but I'm
for,
thinking $150. That's not, is that feasible? $150 for phone and fax for you,
He doesn't need his own.
doesn't what?
He doesn't need his own, right?
Are they still required to? I have no idea.
at one time, they were required to have their own. So I mean,
Phone down there before? I don't know who's ever been calling
It was a fax line.
that's fine.
it. Back line. Yeah, maybe uses that.
Because what he had to fax in was private,
Oh.
and so it could not go through ours.
And we paid for his mobile, his cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah, remember that?
There's probably $150 right there.
I do have a question though, before we move on to the phone, is if you guys get on the agenda for their meeting next Wednesday, can you get with the county sheriff and ask for his blessing to prepare a letter,
Before that.
right, to be ready for the meeting with the commissioners so that they can see his letter? And maybe we should have one as well of our request, you know, in a professional manner. And ask the sheriff to do the same and with his backing of the idea, so that we're coming prepared.
And I can email Marty and ask him to do that. If we get on the agenda, and I'll just email Marty and ask him to.
Do a quick letter of support,
That would be next Wednesday.
along with our letter of request.
So then,
Have a better chance at it. And then
yeah,
also
right.
ask them if there's any grants available for the community that would help with that, for either entity.
Okay.
And he was talking about the COPS grant. I don't know how often or
They come up.
common they are.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the phone should cover the cell phone,
Just helping. Wouldn't be in
phone and fax, yeah. This is monthly bill.
Either.
I really think that we need to ask him if he needs that, and he maybe doesn't know yet because the family's not moved here yet.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't know where she's gonna be.
I think even regardless, we're required to have the option, we still have to budget for it, whether or not he necessarily thinks he needs it or not.
Well, with,
Well, if we rent her, we're still gonna need a phone down
we're,
They
okay,
provide their own.
we're
there. Okay.
talking two different things here. The insurance, how that was handled in the past was that if the officer did not need full coverage insurance, they got a stipend for a couple $100 to pay out of pocket expenses rather than the full amount of the insurance. And that worked well. And that was, again, a savings to the town. But until we know,
We don't know.
we don't know, exactly. So a tough call on this budget this year, I think.
And it's gonna affect the, fuel expense and
Everything, yeah. So what are we, I'm sorry.
I got another engagement I'm gonna have to go to, but we're looking like we're gonna have to do a third night on this, or
Well, what time do you have to leave?
like 5 minutes ago.
I'm sorry.
Well, how about doing it like Monday night? What's Monday? Because she's gotta work on her, she's gonna have to work on this to see.
But I gotta work on packets tomorrow.
You're right.
I think it's gonna have to be after the meeting.
Well, that would be fine too.
Mhm.
I think, but just to summarize law enforcement, I think me and Donna and Eric could sit down when he gets in, if we're gonna do the third part of this next week,
Mhm.
what, like Wednesday?
Thursday.
I think me, Donna and Eric could sit. down
Thursday would be better for me.
and get this ready.
With the long meeting night.
So I think we should.
Night, we should. I get all the changes.
But yes, you do have to sit down with him and get a lot of this figured out, yes?
Him going to this certification class, is the town paying for that?
It is actually, no, it's actually, free, kind of. It's not really free, but we do not have to pay for it. That is something the state covers. And they do the, room and board for him at that time also.
We just
But we have to pay his wage at that time. And
Over an hour to do
Full-time
that.
wages at that.
that's
I don't know how long y'all plan.
Was there any kind of agreement that he would stay with us for a certain amount of time?
we discussed that. And, I thought it was something that should be contracted with. If we're paying for his lawn, or we're providing his law enforcement training for the state of South Dakota, that he would need to stay with us for however long, but that was kiboshed I think it was kiboshed by law enforcement committee for
Well,
some
it's
reason.
almost impossible to enforce such a thing. Basically, you have to continue being our employee
I
because,
guess it
yeah,
would
that's
just
what
be
it is.
Mhm. When we first hired him, he did not want to be a part of a larger city enforcement. And he really liked the fact that we were a smaller town and that he would be basically building his own department. And so it was kind of seemed like a perfect fit at the time. Now I realize, or I hear that Custer wants to have him, and I mean, if he wants to go to a bigger city, I would think that'd be, I mean, we can't change that.
Do you want him full-time or part-time?
I don't know, you'd have to ask the law
Well,
enforcement committee, because I've been kind of out of that.
Until he gets his schooling done, we really can't, you know, he's gonna be paid full-time while he's at school.
Mhm.
And and we were kind of waiting to see what the budget was gonna do,
Mhm.
if we can afford to offer him.
Well, I think just looking at some of those very oddly distributed
Yeah.
expenses, I think you and I can sit down and just compartmentalize law enforcement and get him full-time at the rate we approved him of after class. So maybe tomorrow, I don't know if you have, or Monday or
Monday would be better.
Monday.
Has 3 o'clock appointment.
All right.
So then basically what we're saying is that we have to find out all this information from the,
We need to find out exactly.
law enforcement,
And make
yes.
arrangements.
But not just law enforcement, we're gonna find out some information from engineering and one of the others back here. So Terry's got a lot of work to do, but as long as she has work to do and we're basically quitting at this point, can we quickly go down the list? Because if there's gonna be other work that needs to be done, it would be nice for her to do that also. So, I see here after law enforcement, do you need to talk more about law enforcement, Shanna, before we move on? Just quickly to see if
No.
more information needs
I
to
was
be
gonna
gathered.
say everything else, but I mean, we had already added part of the wages to P and Z. Your garbage isn't going to change.
Garbage is,
Capital outlay is not gonna change, and then you have your total. So
Okay.
other than streets, which is also, I mean, you got Chuck's contract in there and
Mhm.
another line of contention. That we're done with the general fund, but I want to go back to, and I don't know why we're skipping over it, but the attorney fees. And I don't care who the attorney is. But you can see, we budgeted in 23, we budgeted $30,200.
Mhm.
We spent $30,100, right on track. Next year, we budgeted 33,000. We spent 32,800.
Mhm.
That's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Still under the next year, why did we budget down to 30? Because we still spent 32.2, which is a little bit less than the 32.8 the year before, but it's still right on track for what we've been spending.
That's
No,
not.
that's what we spent already.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why this is.
Sorry, I was looking at the whole deal.
Yeah, no,
I put that, I'm just gonna give you guys
Whether it's 33 or
what we, paid this in our attorney budget and kind of the hours and how they split
what
out,
we're at now.
how it's kind of a split.
Or what is his monthly?
You get the retainer of 2,500. There's one more.
Bill's been about 4,000.
So the majority of the hours we pay for has been for him to attend the meeting, 70 hours.
100 per month. And I know, does that cover a certain amount of hours?
10
That
hours.
covers his
10 hours, we get 10 hours for the 2,500. And then any additional hours above that is,
And the
at
meeting, if he
275.
comes to the meeting, it comes out of that 10 hours.
Right.
right.
And so
And that's what's been
If that,
happening.
if there's still something left of that 10 hours, there are times when we spend 275 on meetings because the 10 hours has already been burnt on other.
So we'll need some supplemental in there, I get it, but his amount, 2,500 per month at 10 hours is right at what we've always budgeted for at 30,000. And then we need a plus, basically a contingency on top of that.
All right, Tammy,
And I don't see, well, I wasn't quite finished, I'm sorry. But it's not going to be that much different than how we have to adjust for the engineer.
But the engineer is coming out of some money that we are getting back.
Well, the permits kind of are, we're only budgeting revenue
The
of,
grants we got, we just submitted grant money and we're getting from the ARPA grant and the SRF, 350 some thousand we're gonna get back.
all right, Tammy,
we need an attorney. Bottom line, if we've budgeted 30, 30, 30, let's continue with the 30 and move on. We can talk to Kent and say, this is what we can afford, this is all we can afford. Even if he makes a contingency and put it at 33,000 where we had it in 2024, would make perfect sense to leave it at 33,000 and not to go over. So if we don't need Kent, then we need to tell him not to be at the meetings, but not to, just have to keep track of it. We can't just say in October, we don't have money anymore and you're done. Regardless of who it is, they're not gonna beat his rate. He's been with the town forever. I don't think budgeting the number isn't about the person who's doing the job.
okay, are you done now?
I guess so.
All right, Tammy,
Okay, one thing, Eric said he
Calm
can
down.
be here by Monday, but sooner if he's needed. So if you guys want to talk to him before the Monday's meeting, then he can be here sooner than Monday.
No, that'll be fine. Oh,
Okay,
yeah, I want him to have this weekend. He needs, when he does get back, I want him charged and ready to.
right. And the second thing about the attorney, like I'm new, so no judgment on any prior thing, but from being in the Board of Commerce down in Aransas Pass, we retained a lawyer, but we never saw the lawyer unless there was a specific meeting that had to be legal. Otherwise, they didn't need to be there at all, charging money for traveling and stuff like that unless it was specifically needed, because even the meetings that I have been here, he wasn't needed. And that's extra money that we're paying him to come here for nothing.
Well, it makes sense that so we have so much bullshit going on this board that we have needed him at every meeting, unfortunately.
I haven't seen any major legal thing in every meeting since I've been.
Because he was here, luckily.
You have not.
I'll leave it at that.
You were
I
there,
think
maybe,
you should send it.
Oh, I was here, Connie. Thank you very much.
yeah,
Not at every meeting.
well, I mean, how long do you guys want to spend on budget meetings?
Well, as much as we need to, we need to get this finished, but I don't think it's good to not have everybody here. And if Aaron has to leave and we've already put 2 hours in, I think we should reschedule another one.
Well, we
Um,
didn't think
said-
we were gonna get this all accomplished in 2 days. I mean, there's a lot to discuss.
There's a lot of changes this year. I will give you that. In the past, excuse me, I know I'm bringing up the past, but I mean,
It's not always a bad
it's,
thing.
well, yeah, and we wanna remember the things we've done well and change the things we've done poorly. So that does talk about the past. However,
No.
We're not done. We're not done. We're gonna, and we have a lot of information yet to get to make these decisions. So I believe that we should, schedule the next meeting for, like I said, Thursday works best for me. I don't know. We're already here on Tuesday. It's gonna take Terry time to get this information, and you guys have to go to the Wednesday meeting to get that information.
Can
So
we do Friday? Maybe next Friday? Doesn't matter.
most people don't like Fridays, Aaron. For those people that are weekend people, they don't, I mean, I'm okay with it. One days is no,
I do
really
have to
not
go,
much
so-
different than the others, but the
Excuse me, I don't interrupt, but I know it's Zoom. Yeah.
Zoom. So what?
Somebody at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock or.
So this is another thing I would like to discuss. The 4 o'clock time frame was, how was that chosen this time?
I went back and listened to the recordings, and I believe we talked about it in like.
What difference does it matter if it's at 4 o'clock?
Well, the public,
Till 5.
most most workers work till 5, and that's why our meetings are scheduled at 6. Our regular meetings are scheduled at 6. And that is one thing that we always wanted the public to be able to attend, because it was very annoying to me going to the commissioners' meetings, and theirs are at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of the public that can't make those meetings. I was always a lucky one. I don't work a normal 9 to 5 position Monday through Friday. I work, but not that time frame. So I was okay with it. But if we want the public to be able to join us at our meetings, they prefer the 6 o'clock time frame. Now, so I know it was made for 4 o'clock. However, that decision was made had nothing to do with me. It just made it so that, I mean, like I said, I can rearrange my schedule as I did today. I normally work a 12 or 14-hour day on Thursday. That's one of my really long days, but I changed my work schedule so that I could be here. And I don't care when they are, but if you're trying to get the public involved in it, you may want to change that time frame. So you tell me when to appear and I'll be here, but like I said, Thursday night works better for me. So I've said enough, I think.
Okay. So when you guys want to do it Thursday then? Next Thursday, the 21st?
Do you believe that'll
I
give you
can't
enough
do it
time?
next Thursday.
You can't do Thursday, okay?
Not this next week, I can't. I have a prayer engagement. And I only get to have
5 or
so many
6.
times. Yeah, I can't do it.
What about Wednesday?
I can't do Wednesday.
Wednesday?
I mean, we could change that if it's okay with everybody, but I mean, Wednesday, is meter reading, so, and part of Thursday it'll take probably for that too, so.
Maybe Friday at 4. So it's not taking up the whole meeting on a Friday night, taking up the whole evening. I like the afternoons. It's just my opinion.
I don't mind it because if it takes us 3 hours, then we're still out of here by 7. But if we meet at 6, then it takes us 3 hours, we're out of here at 9. You know, and I just, not that I have, I don't have kids at home or anything, but still.
Personal opinion, I'm for 4.
Okay.
Since I've been here for over a year and a half now, all I see online and through meetings and everything is we need the public. We need to involve the public. We need to invite everybody here, blah, blah, blah. I think meetings need to be at the time when people are out working. Because it seems almost like if it's at 4 o'clock, it is going to be deliberately a hidden office meeting that the public's not welcome to. And I'm speaking it as a citizen of the town. People just cannot be here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. People do work.
That's why our public meetings are at 6 p.m. to try to get as much public involvement as we can. when you're asking the board to do 3 extra meetings a week or 2 extra meetings a week where you already have a regular meeting and it's on a Friday, I would prefer 4 o'clock. We're still gonna be going till 7 o'clock. They can get here at 5 or 6 when they want. That's just my opinion. There's 5 of us. I don't have to agree with me, but special meetings, yeah, work sessions, yeah, regular meetings, for sure. Equalization meetings, for sure, 6 o'clock. But
What do you
your meetings
think's
that take
left
a
of
lot
this?
of time and going
Hour,
numbers.
2 hours?
I would say, just from my experience and what we've been through, that it'll be another 2-hour meeting
Well, at least
And then another meeting for the,
to balance it.
to balance it, yeah, and those meetings usually only take 15 minutes or
And that
or
can be
half
at
hour,
5 or 6 p.m.
and that
7
can be
p.m.
anytime, and it could also be added to, no, we can't add it to the next meeting, because there won't be next week's meeting is the
It'll be
last meeting of the month.
first meeting in September that.
First meeting in September, we could do it then,
Could do it then.
and not have then the third meeting. the
so just for, there's 2
regular.
hours left, and we did
At least.
whatever day you decide to do, it'd be from 6 to 8.
Well, we've always kept our board meetings at 6 o'clock,
Mhm.
but this is kind of a special.
Maybe
If we
5:30.
have to get everything done except for the 15-minute balancing, I would expect it to be over 3 hours to finish.
Would you?
That's
Would the
fine.
Saturday be okay with everyone since most
I'm
people
okay
don't
with-
work on a Saturday?
I'm okay with Saturdays. I'm, like I
Like
said, I'm
3 in the
the
afternoon?
easiest to, I can work my schedule around it,
I don't know if we can even have it on Saturday.
meaning legally.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I want to do Saturday.
Yeah, it just seems,
People are available.
Yeah, if you decide we'll find it online, yes, we'll hear.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta do it when we can do it, so.
No.
What time couldn't you do on Thursday?
Well, we do have the whole week of the,
I have something booked at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, we dare push it out to the 26th.
well, I would say we
That's what I was
could.
just looking at it,
Yeah.
on that Tuesday, the 26th.
That is Memorial or Labor Day weekend, mind you, but the weekend doesn't start for most people till Friday.
The
Is
26th.
this our
So-
regular meeting night?
No, next week is our,
26th is a Tuesday.
that would have been P and Z meeting night, back in the past, so,
And Memorial Days, or
Labor Day.
is on the 1st.
actually on the 1st, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, we have that, if we don't have that, then I mean,
Yeah, for me, a weekend is only 2 days, Linda. I don't know about you, but
I am going by, tourists, and a lot of tourists make their 3-day weekends into a 4 or 5-day weekend with their vacation days, and so
Their
that's,
Friday to their Monday that they get paid out.
right, exactly, so that's why I say that.
The 26th. at
26 works good.
26 at 5 and we'll split the difference. Guys, okay with that?
work session, 5 o'clock, the 26th.
Budget meeting.
I mean, budget meeting.
Budget meeting.
We'll pick up.
Well, it's still a work
just where we
session.
left off.
At
It's
5.
a lot of work,
He said at 6.
okay,
It'll probably be a long meeting, so.
all right,
5 to 8, probably.
26. And Terry, I will come up with you if you need, and, need any help going, yeah, get everything, yeah, get everything covered and, okay.
Okay, so let's, we added the lower space discussion, to the agenda, but Aaron had to leave, so we'll table that till the next time. Any items from constituents? You guys had we had a very talkative bunch tonight, and that was good, so.
Mhm.
I don't mind you for being done with that. Trustee input, any further input from the trustees?
I would like to go into executive session for maybe 10 minutes.
Okay,
Under what contract, legal or personnel?
Personnel.
Personnel, okay.
okay.
My trustee input, I know this is hard work and I know it's hard for the audience to sit and listen to all of our little, $10, $50 back and forth here and there. And I just thank the public and the board members for putting their time in, and Terry, and everybody's opinions. I think it's great to hear it all and to try to come up with a balancing act here. So thank you all.
Great. Shannon, did you have any input?
No, thank you.
Okay, so, you'd like to make a motion for executive session, Donna?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Do you want a 5-minute break first, or?
We don't,
No,
Nope.
no,
we
it's not
don't
ready.
adjourn the regular meeting until after.
After,
the executive
yeah.
session.
Okay, I make a motion, we go into the executive session for about 5-10 minutes.
At 6:10.
I don't think we need that.
I'll second that motion.
In the seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. One absent.
And Donna, will there be any motions
No.
made after this executive session? Okay, so it'll just be coming out and adjourning the meeting.
Everybody.